Most creators have no idea how much of their personal info becomes public until something goes wrong. Today, we're breaking down what the world can see and how to keep your information safe.
Your creative genius deserves the same precision behind the numbers.
Welcome to Let's Get Fiscal, hosted by Anastasia, Myiesha, and Danielle.
Part of the women-led team at Coterie Tax.
From smart tax moves to cash flow strategy,
we decode everything it takes to run a thriving creative business
so you can scale with confidence and sleep easy at night.
Press play and let's grow your business.
So you have started a business and you are really excited about getting everything together. You have a lot of stress, this is going to be your only source of income. You've really jumped in and now you have all of these extra responsibilities. And there is one key caveat that sometimes gets forgotten, and it's your information could potentially be public.
that sounds like fun.
Yes. So,
Why? Yeah. Like, why does it suddenly become more public? Yeah.
Well, a lot of times, especially in the beginning to save on costs, you're working out of your home and you don't really have like a PO box because they can cost $200 a year. You don't have a virtual mailbox or a virtual office, because those have costs. You're really trying to be as cost sensitive as possible.
Makes sense.
So when people say like, where do you want your mail sent? Say my house.
Oh, yeah. So your personal address is going to be listed.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so there are a lot of states where whatever address you list and you have to list an address for the business, whatever address that you list is public information, completely public information. So especially when we are creating a brand new business for one of our clients, I like to just make sure that they are aware of this information. Because I think I think there was one time where we were all working and we're watching 90 Day Fiance and somebody said they live somewhere, and before they even walked in the door, I already was able to describe what their kitchen looked like.
Oh, God.
And so these are the parts where everybody thinks like, oh, you're a little bit scary sometimes. But it really is that easy. And, some people don't really, they don't know that. And I'm able to be like, okay, well, you and your 2 kids and your wife, like, I can see you also have a dog because Google Earth says you have a dog. And, it really, really is sometimes that easy. And I know we're in an age where, is any information really secure?
Yeah.
How many people have, all of my contact information from all of these data breaches and everything that happens. And especially when you decide to be a public facing figure, if that's what you decide, kind of going out in the world, then there is that level of anonymity. I don't know.
It's okay.
Anonymity?
Anonymous.
And yes, that's the root word, but
I wasn't going to try the other
we'll
one.
get there. But that you kind of give up when you are going into a business, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you need to make things easier for people.
That's fair. Yeah.
So in a lot of states, number one, they're going to require the name of the business, the address of the business, the name of all of the owners, and the address of all of the owners.
Okay.
So, and sometimes it's not always necessarily available through a quick Google search.
Okay.
But if you know the company name that you're looking for, then you can go and you know what state they're operating in. You can go into that website, you can find the company, and it lists every single, like a PDF document, of every single thing that they've filed. And you can see everything that they've been doing.
Yeah,
where they've
that's
lived
not a name and a state. That's not very hard to find to then get even more. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
And there's really only 50 of them. So if you are very motivated, you don't even need the state.
Yeah.
So that's why I really, really warn people, especially, even in like a creative industry, or maybe you're a therapist or something, like you want to just name the name after you. So, first name, last name, LLC, first name, last name, design, LLC, whatever. But that means that it's like super easy for them to just, anybody to say like, oh, let me see if they have a business. And then they can find the business, they can find your address, and then there we go. So I'm really hesitant when people have a name that is their actual name. So sometimes using a company name that's not necessarily like it's just like kind of out there,
Yeah.
something different.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like we have Coterie. It's, like I'm a CPA. I could have named the business completely after me, but I didn't. I chose Coterie instead as that name. So that's kind of an example of using just like something else that means something to you or has some type of meaning, but kind of staying away from using.
Naming it after yourself.
Yeah. And it is still possible to, maybe name it after yourself, but use a DBA.
Gotcha.
And then all of your invoices say the DBA name instead of, and especially if you're an S corporation, you don't need people to send you a 1099, so you don't have to fill out a W-9 that says that it's just a DBA of this other company name. So there are different things to do there, but normally having it with an ambiguous company name that's not related to your name is going to be one of the helpful things. And then the other thing is also just investing in having a business address, whether that's like, there's a lot of co-working spaces where you can pay a certain amount of money every single month, and that will be, kind of your business location. You can get a virtual mailbox and have some of your stuff delivered there.
Is that
PO
safe, like
box.
having a virtual like mailbox?
I mean, you have to kind of understand like what a virtual mailbox is.
Okay.
So a virtual mailbox is just a mom and pop post office
Okay.
place, like a postal store, and they accept your mail on your behalf and they scan it in and then they upload it into this online system.
Oh,
So it's just some random place is receiving your mail and scanning it for you.
okay. Okay.
So sometimes some people are just like, I don't,
Yeah. A little hesitant
if
about
you're
it.
just like, I'm never going to receive any mail at this address. So I don't, it's not going to be too sensitive, then that's fine. Or you can just go and find the mom and pop postal store, and then you go and you pick it
Set
up,
it
or
up.
you can pay an additional fee for them to open it up, and then they scan it to you, just like any of these like larger virtual mailbox companies will do for you.
Okay.
So sometimes having that, and then there's also where you are incorporating the company.
Okay.
So sometimes that's why people like Delaware, Wyoming, there are certain states that hide the owner information.
Oh, okay. So you can like kind of look and do research before you set it up to see if that's a concern for you. Okay. Okay.
So I have certain people that they want to be incorporated in Delaware just because none of the owner information is available. There's the registered agent's information that is available, but none of, it's very difficult to get that owner's information.
Gotcha. And what is the registered agent?
So a registered agent is a person, if there is something going on with the company and the company needs to be served, or, legal paperwork needs to be delivered to the company, this is the person that's going to receive it. So it could be an officer, it could be an owner, or you could appoint a separate person. So it could be your lawyer, it could be your accountant, or it could be a company. So like LegalZoom does it all the time.
Yeah.
So, for example, in California, when you look up a business, it'll say the business name, it'll say the business address, it'll say the name of the registered agent, and the name and the address of the registered agent. So,
okay. So then their address is kind of separated out about it as long as they had something different for the business address. So personally, they could be kind of separate.
Yeah, there's still a little bit, in California, there's a little bit of digging that you can do. And at least California, like LA County, they hide the ownership information. The county assessor hides the ownership information of the individual properties. So somebody can't take your name and then just look at a county assessor's website. There's all kinds of fun things. So Delaware, they'll only show the business name and then the registered agent's name and the registered agent's address.
Okay.
So just really kind of and like I said, I mean, sometimes it's not really an issue, you know? I mean, my address is on so many pieces of information that I hand to my clients all the time. I'm like, yeah, sure.
Well,
Come
now
on
everyone
over.
on the podcast
Right.
knows it too. We just made it more widespread. But I get what you're saying. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, because the 2848
Mm-hmm.
has my, the power of attorney,
Yeah.
it
It has
has that
your personal
because,
address.
there's a lot of different things. So just being aware that this information, how available this information is,
Mm-hmm.
and whether or not you're comfortable with that.
Yeah.
Because again, it's, I don't know, like that kind of like idea of consent,
Mm-hmm.
it's a little bit different if you are aware of this, you're able to take actions, you're able to decide if you're comfortable with that or not. And,
Mm-hmm.
if you're not comfortable, look for solutions so that you are more comfortable
Mm-hmm.
with
Mm-hmm.
that scenario. Or maybe, again, you're like, I'm not going to be doing this nationwide thing. I'm not going to be public facing, all of these different questions. Maybe you don't necessarily need to invest in this information, but definitely making sure, because a registered agent, I mean, they can cost $200 a year,
Yeah.
so you have $200 a year there, then you have, minimum $200 a year on, a virtual office or something like that. So
Mm-hmm.
you could be spending, $500 when you are just barely starting out. And maybe that, on
Yeah.
top of it could cost you $1,000 to set up the company
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
because you have to pay, like,
The
and
fees
then you
and
have to
stuff.
pay the $800 franchise tax fee in California. And then if you're an S corporation, you have to pay the $1,000 pass through entity tax so that you can take advantage of that. Like, there's a lot of costs associated with opening up a business, but just knowing that this information can be public. And if somebody like wants to dig enough,
Mm-hmm.
they don't necessarily have to go to the dark web in
Yeah.
order to get that information.
Gotcha. Yeah.
It's a
So it's
lot.
about being aware. Okay. Okay.
Exactly.
So what would someone do if they originally set their company up with like a home address, but they now kind of want to change it? Is that like a possibility to like if they want to do like a PO box or a virtual mailbox?
Yeah, a lot of the states will allow for a statement of info, like you can do like a statement of information
Mm-hmm.
or like your annual statement. You can make a correction to your annual report
Okay.
so that it'll change the public facing address that is
Mm-hmm.
listed underneath your company. Um, some of them won't necessarily give you that
Yeah.
opportunity because they show the past filings. So again, it won't be listed on that front page when anybody's looking up the website, looking up your address, or, companies won't be able to like scrub the state website, pull all of that front facing information and then send you, things through the mail. But if somebody is interested enough, they might still be able to dig in. So sometimes it's, about, okay, well, let's close down that entity.
Mm-hmm.
Now you've moved to a different location. Let's close down that entity. Let's now consider, creating something that has a little bit more security.
Gotcha.
There.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it seems like a lot of this is just like making sure you're aware of like how available your information can be depending on like decisions you make when setting up your business.
Mhm,
Okay.
mhm. That this is, you know, like I said, it's not something that people necessarily talk about.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When you open a business, is that some of that information is going to be public,
Mm-hmm.
and just making sure that you're aware of that. And when they're asking you what your business address is,
Yeah.
it does warrant a little bit of thought. And like I said, I mean, not every situation, it doesn't matter in
Mm-hmm.
every situation, but
Just being aware.
mhm,
Yeah. No.
mhm, mhm. And like I said, sometimes it's just about, I'm not public facing. I'm using an ambiguous company name.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's really no reason for anybody to dig any further than that. So
Yeah.
then I don't need to do that. But in other situations, maybe you do want it to,
Yeah.
like have something else kind of sitting around there.
That makes sense. Okay.
Mhm. Yeah.
Alrighty. So I think that should about wrap up protecting yourself online.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. And I mean, obviously, there's always other things that you should be checking out, but I know starting a business, there's a lot of costs, there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of things going on, a lot of stress. But this is a really important piece that, again, like once it's out on the internet, it's there forever.
Yeah.
So take a moment, really think about what's going to be right for you and your family as you're, figuring out what that company name is, what that address is, and then also what level of privacy you think that you would prefer.
Makes sense.
Mhm.
Alrighty.
Okay, so yeah, nice, short and sweet.
We love those. Thank you so much for watching and listening. If you have any questions or you want to know more about us, there should be a link in the show notes. And yeah, until next time. Bye, guys.
That's a wrap on Let's Get Fiscal.
Ready to stop guessing and start saving? Click the link in the show notes.
Grab your consult and let's make your business work for you.
Not the other way around. You've got this.